Hi y'all, this is Regina. Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you some fancy fills that I have created, and they are for sale in my Etsy shop. There'll be a link in the video, below the video in the description box. These are for Thanksgiving. I've already posted a Christmas one, and there are 24 fancy fills, or as they are properly called, decorative fills, that you can use in your Palette 11 or PE Design 11 software, or on your embroidery machine, Solaris or Innovis, and the Luminaire, any of the Baby Lock or Brother embroidery machines that have the capability of using decorative fills. So you can use them on your computer and on your embroidery machine. So I thought I would give you a little more insight as to fancy fills and the things you can do with them. One thing I want to preface is that my decorative fills have no tie-offs in the middle of the design anywhere. Once it starts, it continues and stitches until you either run out of bobbin thread or top thread, or it's done. There are no jumps, and I'll show you something to that effect here in a minute. So these are some of the ones I've done. I've got pilgrim hat, and there's 4 variations. Yes, these 2 are the pilgrim hat, and if you look at it, you can see the pilgrim hat. It might be kind of sideways or upside down, like this right here. Here's the pilgrim hat. It's this hat right here. This one has leaves around it. This one is turned out. This one is turned in. You can look at the center if you're ever in question of what it is. This one is the hat's turned out, and this one, the hat's turned in. Here's it turned in here and in here. That's how it forms the different designs within the fancy fill. Okay, so I've got 2 different leaves. This is the first leaf, and these are 2 variations. This is the second leaf, 2 variations. This is a Thanksgiving leaf wreath, and this is a variation of that same wreath. Here's pumpkins. Let me close this and open this one right here. Here's the pumpkin. Oh, let's see here. Let me open this back up. Okay, so here's the pumpkin. Here's a variation of that pumpkin. So the pumpkin is, here's the center of it. It's facing this to the corners, outside corners, and on this one it's facing inwards. And so let me open, do I have anything open yet? Yes, okay, so I have the pumpkin with the leaves. Now let me pull it up here. This is with the wreath. So let me open it. So I am in Programmable Stitch Creator. Let me close this out. And if you aren't sure where to do it, this is Palette 11. And you go up here on the right hand corner, click Options, Programmable Stitch Creator. So there's a couple of ways that this works. You click, you've got either your new fill or stamp pattern, a new motif, or decorative fill pattern. Okay, when you click open, it automatically goes to the pattern folder. And even though it goes to the pattern folder within Palette, if you go and watch my video for the Christmas designs, I go into some more prior detail. Your pattern folder is in your Palette 11 software folder, and in the Christmas video for decorative fills I explained to you how to find it. So go watch that video and it will explain to you that. So all your programmable fill stitches, your motif stitches, and your decorative fills are in this pattern folder. I have moved mine out. I've actually got a couple of different folders within my pattern folder. Let me see here. Let me open another window here. And so I'm going to show you my Palette 11 software I installed, and I installed it in my root directory, which is C, and it's right here, and I'm going to the pattern folder. So what I've done is I put all my Baby Lock files, PLF files, that were on the first 2 CDs that are USBs, we'll put it, that they released, and these are all the motifs and the fills that were on those USBs, the Decorative Fill USBs. And then I had some that I downloaded years ago that are, let's see, there's 312 of them that some ladies made back years and years and years ago, and I use these programmable fills in Palette 11 quite a bit to create different texture-like items in your fill elements. So back to this where your PLF files, your decorative fill files with this PLF extension, they have to be in this folder. Or you have to have a folder set up underneath this pattern or on a USB and know how to get to it. Alright, so let me go back over here, and I'm going to open the Thanksgiving pumpkin wreath. So when you go to open it, it gives you a preview window, and I wish there was some way that I could make, does this, no, it just wants to move. There's no way to make this window bigger. Alright, so here's the pumpkin, and I can tell it has the leaves on it. And here's, let's see, we want the pumpkin with the leaves. So we're gonna choose that one right there. And there it is. This is the decorative fill that I created that creates this look right here. This is the pumpkin with the leaves. And you can look at this design. Let me take these little dots out of it. Make it clear. There we go. It takes this design, and when you create an element like a square or a hexagon or a heart or whatever, and put your fill in it through your sewing attributes window, you go to decorative fill and choose the fill you want. Okay, so my fills are down here under RY and Thanksgiving. So I'm using this fill right here. This has leaves on it, this has pumpkins in it. I'll open this so you can see what the difference is and how it changes the look. So see how it changed this look? So this over here on the right hand side, this is your default for decorative fills, and the direction is 0. Okay, over here on the right hand side. This gives you a kind of a preview down here in the bottom right, but you have a big preview right here. Alright, so whenever you bring these up in your software, just like in your embroidery machine, when you bring them up in your decorative fill in IQ Designer, you can do a number of things with it. You can change the direction. So I'm going to change the direction, and when I do, you can see it down here, and now watch it change. So you can make this design, this fancy fill, decorative fill, I'm going to call this a quilt block because you can make a quilt block out of this. I'm in an 8-inch hoop right here. You can do all kinds of things to make it look different. So if I put it up straight up 90 degrees, and you can change by a little bit at a time, right over here on the right. So now it has the center pumpkin, you know, up this way, vertically, we'll say. And if you don't like where that center pumpkin is, you can go up here and take your selection tool, click down the arrow, and take this point mover. I don't know what the actual terminology is, but it puts this little thing right here, this little plus sign, and if you move it, it moves this whole area and changes the look. Okay, so I can turn it again, and I want my center to actually be somewhere else because I want this to be in the center, let's say. So however I move that, see how it puts something else in the center? It takes this actual center and puts it off to the side. So that's one way you can change it. So let's say I didn't want it so big. I wanted it a little smaller. So let's play with the size. So the default is 3.94, and I'm going to change it to 2.85. Now, always click your maintain aspect, and if you don't, see what it does, how it makes it kind of skewed. So over here on the right-hand side, right here is maintain aspect ratio. When I click it, it makes these two numbers the same and keeps them squared, I'll say. Okay, it keeps the ratio of length to width correct and even. So now it's changed the look even more. So if I take and put this back in the middle, and I'm watching my guide here, up here, and when I click, I can see it over here on the left on my ruler over here. See, when I click this, see that line moving on the left hand side, and you can see it on the right, on the top. Okay, so now this is in the center, and it even looks different now. So this is how you can change up how your decorative fill looks. So I can even make it bigger. So let's say I want it bigger. I'm going to put 6.00 and see how it changes again and has a different look to it. So play with your decorative fills in your machine and in your software. Paddle 11 is not that difficult to learn, to be able to do these different manipulations. So let me delete this. Let me do a new, and we're going to start from scratch. So let's say I wanted a hexie. So I'm going to hold my shift key. I'm going to bring my design in, and let me center that. Center. And I'm going to hold my shift key again and push and click down on my left mouse button and drag it out until it takes up as much as it possibly can. So now this is pretty even, but I want it to fill my hoop. So I'm holding the shift key and I'm dragging out on the left hand side, and the right hand side moves too. Ooh, no, I don't like that. So let's undo, click the undo button. And there we go. We've got a hexie here. So I'm going to right click, and it brings up a menu. And I'm going to take the zigzag off and say no sew, just the way you do no sew in your machine. And then I'm going to right click, and I'm going to click up here at the top, and I'm going to scroll down and click decorative stitch. There's our pumpkin, because that was the last thing we used. Alright, so there's our pumpkin. So let's say, let me change this direction back to right even. Okay, well, that's not quite even, is it? There we go, 0. Almost 0. Alright, so there you go. So let's say I wanted it smaller, so let me click, change it to 3.0 and see how it changes. So have fun with your designs, experiment with your designs, see what you can do. I'm going to turn it this way for a change. Nah, I don't like that. So let's go reverse up here. Now this toolbar is customized, and you can look in your book and see how to customize that. Alright, so I won't get into that right now. Alright, so let's say I don't want this in the center. So let me click up here on my select tools, click the little point, and I'm going to move it over to here. Let's see what happens. Now I have two right here together with the wreath around it, and I've got my four little ones together. So yeah, experiment with all these things and play with them and have fun. All right, so let's see here. Let's bring in a different one. So these are some of my Christmas designs that are in the Christmas Decorative Fills that are on Etsy right now. Okay, all these are on the Etsy shop as Christmas Decorative Fills. So let me scroll down and go to this. These are Halloween. These are on Etsy too. These are all Halloween. From here, all that's all Halloween. Those are all of the Halloween package. Alright, so Thanksgiving. So here's the Thanksgiving ones. Here's the Thanksgiving hat. This one's got the wreath on it. Here's the hat. So look at the difference in this hat and this hat shape. So it's all in how you turn your design that you create in Programmable Stitch Creator. Alright, so here's a wreath, and here's a different wreath. So this is the ones we were just working on. So let's look at let's see here. So here's the turkey. So we've got a turkey with just two little fall designs above him, and then we've got it with it flipped, this flipped a different way above and below him, and then this one is flipped a different way. So let's look at him. Alright, so there is let's put him in the center and move it up. There you go. So you can have the turkey in the complete center, and if I make it 4.50, see what you get, and versus, let's say, 2.75. 1968, how did I get that? 2.75, or how about 2.50? Alright, so you can get a lot of turkeys in there, a lot of little turkeys. Now this is, remember, this is an 8-inch hoop, so it won't be hard, it won't be bad to stitch. And once again, my designs do not have a bunch of tie-offs in them, so I'm going to show you how you can tell. If you bring up a design in your software, click up here on View, and then go over here to Stitch. See this dotted line? If you have more than one dotted line going up, then you've got a lot of tie-offs. So let me show you one. So this will be a little lesson on how to find your, when you're in Palette, how to get them off of a USB and not have to load them onto your computer. So click this little folder. It opens this window, and you want to go to where your USB is. So I'm going to minimize this, and I know that USB was D, and I'm going to say okay. No, I don't want any PAS files. Oh really? Give me a break. I just opened them a little while ago, so bear with me a minute. D, there we go. Let's see, let's grab this one. All right, so I didn't click on a folder. All right, so we're going to click on that. So I'm going to open this one, and I won't tell you where I got them from. All right, you see all these little dotted lines going every which way? So every time it jumps from one to another, it's stitching some little something that didn't get connected. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. All right, so every one of these lines has to connect. I'm going to zoom in as far as I can zoom in. Hello. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in right here. See how these lines all touch? If they didn't touch, this is what you get. Jump, 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 stitch, jump, stitch, jump, stitch, jump. It goes from one to the next. So I'm going to play this slowly and let you watch. And it usually waits till the end. It stitches everything it can stitch all at the same time, and then as it gets around to the end, see how it just jumped? So I'm going to slow this down. Alright, so it's going to stitch, it's down here, and it's going to jump up here, and it's going to stitch a little bit here, and then it's going to jump and stitch a little bit there. So every time it does that, it's creating a knot on the back of your work. Every time that's a knot there. That's a knot over here. It's stitching there. That's a knot. And it's going to stitch that. And then it's going to have another knot. And it's going to jump over here and stitch a little tiny bit. And then it's going to have another knot. I personally don't like that because I don't want all those knots on the back of my quilting. If I'm going to use it to quilt a element on something, I just don't want all those knots there. So that's how you can tell if something's been stitched, created properly. So hang on just a second. So let me bring up. Let me go back to my C drive, and I'm going to go to palette, and I'm going to go to patterns, and I'm going to go here, and I'll say, now I'm going to bring up, let's bring up this Happy Holidays. See this? One jump, and that's going from the bottom to where this is going to start. So I'm going to show you. It went from here to start. And it doesn't stop and jump again until it's done, even if it jumps to somewhere else. So you see how it just continues to stitch the whole thing? That's because every point touches, and it's just it creates a continual stitch in the decorative fill. Right, so I'm going to bring up my one of mine. So this is, let's go back to the Thanksgiving. All right, so this has a lot of little lines. And it's got to read a lot of little lines. See this? One jump. So when I say there's no jumps or tie-offs, it doesn't jump and tie off, and jump and tie off, jump and stitch and tie off, jump, stitch, and tie off. It doesn't do that. See how this is just a continual stitch? That's how I try to create mine. So that keeps a neater back on your design, on your project, and you don't have a lot of little tiny threads that you have to go back and cut off. Tons of them. All right, so that was one. It started up here, and that's the only tie-off you have until it's done. And that was down here. All right, so let's see here. What else can I show you? So let's go back here. So not only do you have 24 different decorative fills, and you can see how I showed you how you could change them. You also have motifs. So let me bring this up. You also have motifs. Yeah, I do. Do I have them? Hold on, let me change this to view. All right, so here's the little pilgrim hats. This is one leaf. This is another leaf. This is pumpkins, and this is the turkeys. So these are motifs that you can create to make a frame, let's say. Okay, so here's my 8x8 hoop again, and there's my pilgrim motif around there, and I just created a square and turned off my fill. I did a no-sew on my fill. So now I have this little motif, and if I wanted to put on there happy, and click down here, Thanksgiving. Okay, I could, have this and play with that and put whatever I wanted. I could put a design in the middle, a little pilgrim, a little gnome, anything, and have that little line. I could create a card using this and stitch it on cardstock. So many things that you can use. So I have some cards, and I use decorative motif stitches around my cards, and you can find those on my Etsy shop, and I'll be putting more on. So that's what your motifs are. So if I wanted to create, let's say here, file, new, no, I'm not going to save it. So let's say I just wanted it in the shape of this shape. Let's see here. Center. Let's make it a little bit bigger. All right, and I want to change this to a motif, and I go to my sewing attributes tab, and I click here, and let's see here. Let's bring up the pumpkin. So there's my little pumpkins. Now, as you can see, I made the box, the hexagon, is that what it is? Or octagon? I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, whatever. I get them all confused. All right, so I got to make that a little smaller to keep it within my hoop size. And there we go. All right, so I could make this a little bit bigger. I've not ever played with this to see how big it'll go, but here I've just changed it to 1.0, and it makes it a little more round. Okay, if I wanted it smaller, maintain aspect ratio. Always check the maintain aspect ratio. So there's a bunch of pumpkins. I can take it back down to 0.50 and have me little bitty pumpkins, and I can make this a little bit larger so it doesn't go outside the hoop area. So that's how you play with your motif fills also. And let's see, so for the Thanksgiving motifs, here's the hats, here's the pumpkin, So let's do the pumpkins. Now we got to make it bigger. So I'm going to go 0.80. And that's a little bit large. So I'm going to grab my handles and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and there we go. So now I have pumpkins around my frame. Alright, so I think maybe you're getting the idea. I hope you are. If you have any questions, you can post them below, or you can come to my Facebook group, which is Carry On the Stitching, no G on the end of stitching, and it's all one word, CAREYON, capital THE, capital STITCHIN. That's my Facebook group. And I'll have a link to my Etsy shop and my Facebook group in the description of the YouTube video. Thanks for watching. Enjoy using these decorative fills. Alrighty, bye-bye.